from a creative point of view.
Yeah.
There's another. So I told you I would ramble on about this.
That's fine.
But in addition to that, the other thing that's really fun about comics is that you've got this play on time that's not explicitly, or it doesn't have to be explicitly described. So I did this exercise in a comic book workshop some time ago. If you put a panel of I don't know, an astronaut sitting down in a space shuttle in a suit, and in the next panel it's exactly the same, except now the astronaut inside the suit is a skeleton. You've kind of jumped. You don't explicitly know how many years, but maybe a period of so many years without even having to say anything. And you can have this really weird relationship with time as a creator that, again, it requires the engagement of the reader, and you don't necessarily need to explicitly put it in black and white and say 10 years later, and again, it's that kind of play on time, and there's so many ways you can do it with panel size, and whether you're going to break it up into lots of little moments, or there's just so many ways to do it. But that kind of play on time and moments, and whether you expand it or whether you condense, could be years, it could be eons of time that you can condense just between two panels. It just, again, it's just amazing, because it's not being explicitly shown. Like if you was to do that in a movie, you might show it, but without anything having to move, it's all happening within the reader's head, and those are the kind of things that really fascinate me. So as I'm trying to create, next version of or the final trade of Catapulted, it's those kind of things I'm trying to weave in, and and trying to push the boundaries of comics, or trying to really explore why comics is such a great medium. Because I don't think it's just I think, was it Will Eisner who said that if you take great literature, it's well respected, you take fine art, it's respected, but you put them together and they're kind of treated with a kind of childish view, aren't they? It's comics for kids, but I think it's so much more than that, and you can tell some fantastic stories through it. So
my English teacher in like 11th grade, actually 12th grade, 11th grade, he gave us a graphic novel on Macbeth, because he said that the actual story, like in story form, is super boring. An English teacher said that. So he gave us a graphic novel and then a cassette tape that he played throughout. So all we had to do was go through the graphic novel. So that's totally with you on all of that. Like comics definitely can tell a story like way better than like another mediums at some points. Yeah.
And I've got such great memories of having just really simple comics that I'd pick up from the supermarket, when I was a kid, when I was going shopping with my mum, and I'd read them over and over again. I'd only have like 2 or 3, and they were really like, I think one was like a Sonic the Hedgehog comic, and another was like a Ace Ventura adaptation comic, like from the I think it was one of the cartoon shows or something like that. But I just remember reading them and enjoying them every time I read them, and just, the other great thing with comics is you're not bound by time in terms of how long you take to read a page. You can stop and dwell on a moment and explore the panel, and just, you might admire something, or you might spot something a second read around because you're taking a bit more time to look at the panels. And that just makes it, all that more interesting the second time around. And so, just things like that I'd really enjoy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So what's your story? Are you, do you draw, write?
Right. I can't draw to save my life. Like artists say, like anybody can draw. Well, some artists say that. like my tattoo artist says, oh, like you could draw, like I could teach you. Like he said that like years ago, and I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. And then like that didn't happen. But so I just write. I write and create worlds and stuff like that, because that's what we're talking about at 7 o'clock. It's like 6 or 7. 7 is world building. I could talk about that forever. Because all of the stories that I created, like it all was one massive graphic novel. It was like over 1,200 pages.
Wow.
Yeah. And I broke that up into like, I made a timeline just like last week. The first story arc, I think, is like 50 something comics. That's the first story arc. Like the first, that includes not just like the main story, but all the other solo series that go with it. I think just that is 50 something.
Wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. Might be wrong in that. I think all of it is 50 something, but something with 50 something is involved with that. And then, yeah, so you can read the solo series and not care about the rest of the story, but like, you know, you should care about it all because it all connects, and it's just awesome. And then we have our video game that is coming out next year, and that connects into all of the stories, like eventually. And the video game plays as the background stories of everything else. So we're going to be talking about that later today too at 10.
And what you making the game on? What like?
Unity. My friend is doing that. I'm learning how to do like Blender and Unity, so I can help him because it's just him. And I'm actually trying to find other people that want to do that too. But like, there's like a thing called money, and I have to pay people.
Yeah, a small thing.
So I have to pay them. So far, he's the only one that'll be getting paid for making it. I think it's I think it's pretty cheap on what he's charging. Not saying I want to be charged more, but it's like 4,000 something. That's how much. And the game is going to be on our platform, so it won't be like on a console or anything.
Okay.
Because it's going to keep updating. Like it could be on a console and it could still be updating, but instead we're just going to have it on our platform, so it's like an exclusive type of thing. And like people will have to like pay the subscription if they want to play it, which there's enough story. There's more story in that game than another like indie game that I played, and the game was cool. It's just like it was 4 hours of gameplay, and this is like at least, well, I have no idea how many hours, but it's 9 missions like in the beginning, and then there's something special at the end of that. And then it's going to keep updating like for years. So as long as we keep getting money, then we'll keep making the game.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I like the idea of, because I always wanted to do something similar where you've got a story with not just it being in different mediums, but different mediums contributing to the story from different angles. So like a computer game.
Yeah.
A friend of mine put together a Spotify playlist for Catapulted, and I got the idea of that from, I think there was an Image comic called The Weatherman, and they did like I don't know if it was on SoundCloud or they put together a really small album for the comic, and the music was really good. So I kind of like that idea of, it's kind of like another piece of the puzzle for this story, which I think is cool.
Yeah. The video game plays as like, it'll be like The Sims meets Grand Theft Auto, but there's no like mindless killing. There's like, you play as two different characters, and then there's like an unlockable after the 2, and then the next update of that game will be like more missions of those 3 characters. Yeah. Cool.
I messed around with like RPG Maker and making like simple RPG games.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But again, all these things take up so much time, and like you said, it's either time of yourself or money to pay someone else to do it. So it's just trying to
The one thing that I hate wasting is time. That's like the one, like that's worth more to me than money.
Yeah.
So like, if I had all the money in the world, that'd be awesome. But still, like, time is like key to me. So like, I don't want somebody wasting my time. So like, I'm doing certain things to improve our platform and like the people that are on it, the creators. So eventually that game will save me time for other things, and then I can work on something else. Yeah,
sounds like a plan.
Yeah. This is really cool because I've never had any guest talk about something like this before.
Okay.
Either talked about Kickstarters or we talked about marketing. We talk a lot about marketing. If anyone listens or watches our podcasts, we have 2 different podcasts, Breakfast Talk and SNC Podcast. We mostly just talk about marketing and like why most people, like indie creators, don't do it. Like they just not the best at it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're like the best at it, but we do it.
Like some creators don't even have like an idea.
Some people don't have
people
don't know. So we try helping people that don't know how or want to learn. So that's why we're here.
Cool.
So where could people like find you? Do you have
my website is now working. I checked it. I don't know what happened to it. It just
a glitch.
Decided to pick its time. Here we go. So this is my website, Sebastian-Chow.com. Nice and original. But yeah, this is kind of the hub. So if you go here, you can find all the other social medias I use, but I always try to make this kind of the hub. So you can find Facebook. I have an old DeviantArt account. Don't hardly use that anymore, or Instagram. But yeah, I've got a blog with some articles. I think this was the one I had. How can you improve your comics? The joy of discovery is what I kind of nicknamed it. Both of these books fantastic. I do like this one by, I think it's Mark Neese, Art of Comic Book Writing. But yeah, here we go. Here's the panel that I was looking for. So interdependent panel. I'm so happy for you. But you can kind of immediately see that play. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, but I try and update this website with blog articles. If you want a digital version of Catapulted, we've got a PDF, nice and cheap, and some posters, physical posters, nice A3 posters of the one of the cover and one of sort of page 1 sequentials. I've a couple of other bits I'm experimenting with. So I've got some T-shirts that they're all eco-friendly. This company's really cool, T-Meal. So they do all that. They ship it out, and had a few fans of the comic, pick them up, send me some pictures of these T-shirts in the wild, which is cool. And even started to do a display. Well, that's what I've got in the background here. So I thought, get some display on the wall. So head over to Sebastian-Chow.com, and from there you'll find, if you prefer Instagram or Facebook or whatever, you'll find it there. So
sweet.
I see that seems to be quite a common thing now. Like I see a lot of Kickstarter. The main video is almost built like a trailer.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not even sort of just the creator explaining this project. It's just like almost like a movie trailer of the comic.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing with not our video game Kickstarter, but whatever our next comic Kickstarter is, or any other ones, or like Chronicles of Horror or whatever that we're doing. We're going to do like motion trailers and stuff. Just
cool.
Because I know a guy.
That's the key. Yeah, I mean that's how I got my my Kickstarter video done. It was a friend of mine. He's a videographer, and he he said, "Oh, I'd really like to have a Kickstarter video on my resume. Say I've filmed a video for a successful Kickstarter." So he said, "I'll make you a deal. I'll film it for you free of charge, but you make sure that it's successful, and then I can say I've done a successful Kickstarter." So he helped me film it, which was again a big help. I'm sure that helped push the Kickstarter to pick it and say, yeah, let's feature this in a few places, which was good. So yeah, it's useful when you know people with skills.
Yeah. It's good to know people so you don't have to do everything yourself.
Yeah, which is kind of, it's kind of the opposite, and that's the downside of doing everything myself. I spent time trying to learn certain skills. So before the comic, I wasn't really an inker. I learned lettering, how to letter so it looks, decent. I tried my hand at coloring. That I'm still learning, but it takes time to do those things. It's great because it gives you full control, and it's great when you can say, yeah, this is the sole product of my efforts, and you've got it sitting on the shelf. But it does take that much longer. And again, like you tried, I'm trying to learn to sculpt now, and try and learn. Okay, can I put a website together myself? And I want to dabble in making a computer game. I've got to learn some skills there, and it's just like, right, I need to focus in on something. Otherwise, nothing's going to get done. So.
Well, thanks for coming on, and yeah.
No, my pleasure. It's
your knowledge and comics, and
I love talking about it. So I love talking about whether it's the process, whether it's writing, drawing, whether it's just the bits in between, the business side of it. I love it. So yeah, anytime you need someone to talk about these things, I'm always up for it.
Yeah, well, you could probably have an even longer talk if like Dylan was here.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Thanks, and I'm gonna end this so I can have a little break before I.
No, go for it. I hope the everything else today and the rest of the weekend goes well. So appreciate you putting it on.
Yeah. Hector says great guest. So yes.
Hey. Thank you.